Hi everyone, welcome to our talk today. I'm excited to share our project characterizing service provider response to the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. I am the presenter, Shinan Liu. Me and my advisor, Professor Nick Feamster, we come from University of Chicago. And this is a joint work with Dr. Paul Schmitt from Princeton University and Dr. Francesco Bronzino from University Savoie Mont Blanc. The COVID-19 pandemic has significantly impacted our daily behaviors, no matter it's in work, study, or other activities. As these activities become online only, when facing this new trend, the broadband internet has stressed because of these extra traffic loads. Previous study has shown that resulting changes are observed in Europe. For the overall traffic volumes, it increased 15 to 20%. And in Italy, it resulted in round-trip latency of about 30% higher than normal. Some announcements are also made by other entities to respond to such traffic shifts. Service providers, regulatory agencies, they claim that they implemented various responses to those shifts. For example, the Federal Communication Commission announced an initiative to grant providers additional spectrum. However, the validation of those effects in the US and the actual measurements are still missing. So in this paper, we explore the traffic effects in the United States from a longitudinal perspective and measure the actual service provider responses. We seek to answer three questions. First, we want to understand in the United States how the traffic patterns change as a result of COVID-19. Second, considering the stress from the traffic shifts, what were the results affecting the performance? Third, if the performance faced gradations, how did service providers respond? In order to answer these questions, we cover multiple datasets to conduct different analysis to reveal the changes in the traffic demand and interconnect capacity. We used Internet Connection Measurement Project. This is a project covers 7 anonymized access ISPs and about 50% of the broadband subscribers in the US. To understand performance, we explored the ongoing FCC Marine Broadband America project. And also to understand some of the service providers, such as video conferencing apps, we used the IP prefix advertisements. We start with the first question: how did traffic demand change? We answer it by inspecting the link utilization. Here we show 2 plots of 99th percentile utilization. On the first plot, ISP A witnessed a dramatic change around March 2020, which aligns with the beginning date of lockdowns. The ISP B does not show that significant change, so we normalize it to the maximum capacity of each link. So on the second figure, both of them show significant changes. This contributes to 30% to 60% of increases in the traffic demands. We also investigate how traffic patterns change between ISP A and each of the peers in both upstream and downstream. We picked 1 day before and 1 day after lockdowns. In general, we see that the traffic patterns to peers do not vary greatly between the 2 dates. But we do see that the traffic patterns to some peers change significantly. For example, some peers show an increase of upstream utilization by 2 or 3 orders of magnitude. Now we come to our second question: what was the effect on performance? We show the daily changes of latency, average round-trip time over the course of 2020. It shows the 7-day moving average of it. We observe an increase around lockdown in this latency by as much as 10%. This increase in mean latency is significant because it corresponds to 30x standard deviation among all white boxes. On a per ISP level, we show the 99th percentile. They did show some deviations from normal levels during lockdown for certain ISPs. But notably, in many cases, the same ISPs experience deviation in latency during other periods of time, like December holidays. Now come to our third question, how did service providers respond? We calculate the total interconnect capacity for 2 anonymized ISPs. To show aggregate infrastructure changes over time, we take all of the data points in each quarter and perform a least square linear regression. The overall trend shows how these 2 ISPs in the United States aggressively added capacity at interconnects. For example, the first quarter of 2020 is twice as much as the first quarter of 2019. On the advertised IPv4 space, we also witnessed a huge surge in the space number. It is like 2x to 3x increase in those advertised apps. After we answer those 3 questions, here are the takeaways. We observed a 30 to 60% increase in peak traffic rates for 2 major ISPs in the US. Correspondingly, we witnessed significant increases in latency in early weeks of lockdowns, followed by a return to pre-lockdown levels. Meanwhile, we found aggressive capacity augmentation at ISP interconnects and the addition of IPv4 address space from video conferencing providers. We are the first known study of interconnect utilization and service provider responses to changes in patterns resulting from COVID-19 pandemic. This study still offers a somewhat limited viewpoint to these effects and characteristics, and we truly encourage the community to explore more around it. Thank you for your time.